up, guys? It's Richie here, Statifying Football. These are the previews for the NFL 2020 season divisional round. There's 4 games this weekend, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. The first game on Saturday, the Los Angeles Rams and the Green Bay Packers. Los Angeles, they're coming off a nice win against Seattle in the wild card round. They beat them 30-20. It was really all about their Rams' running game and their defense. Their defense, they had 5 sacks, they forced 2 turnovers, and had an interception return for a touchdown, and pretty much held down Seattle's offense all game long. It was 30-13 until late. Seattle scored a touchdown late to do it. Otherwise, they couldn't really move it too much out of one score to DK Metcalf. The Rams offense, Jared Goff was off. He's clearly hurt. He was only 9 of 19, 155 passing yards and a touchdown. But it was offensively, Cam Akers, the running back. He ran for 131 yards and a touchdown. They were able to keep that Seattle offense off the field and keep the Rams' #1 defense fresh and ready to go, which I think is a key. Really key for this game in Green Bay. Green Bay, they had a bye week. They were 13-3. Aaron Rodgers had a phenomenal season. 4,299 yards, 48 touchdown passes to only 5 interceptions. Aaron Jones went off, 1,104 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. Devontae Adams, great year, 115 catches, 1,374 yards and 18 touchdown receptions. Adrian Amos led their team with 83 tackles. Zadarius Smith, 12 and a half sacks. Darnell Savage, 4 interceptions. The Packers, they were number 5 in total offense. They were the #1 scoring offense. Their defense was okay, 9th in total defense and 13th in scoring defense. It'll be in Green Bay. I'm not sure the exact. It says it'll be 34 degrees, maybe a little bit of snow. This may be kind of to the advantage of the Rams. It's the #1 scoring offense against the #1 scoring defense. With the Rams, statistically this year, the Rams haven't been able to move it as well on offense as they normally do. Jared Goff is a little bit hurt. However, they still can. They have the potential to move it. They still have the players. If their running game can get going, if Cam Akers can get going, and Green Bay doesn't have a very strong run defense. I'm honestly kind of leaning towards the Rams here, and the Rams in that defense. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers was out of his mind this year. It was great, but if it does snow, if it's a little slick or whatever, that's not great for throwing and catching all the time. This will be a really close game. I'm going to give the slight edge to the defense with the Rams. I think they might actually come out with an upset. An upset here. Green Bay is favored by 6.5. Maybe, but I'm just going off of, Seattle, Russell Wilson threw 40 touchdowns himself, and he was pretty much shut down. That whole defense was pretty well, held down. So I'm gonna go with the Rams, a big upset here to upset Green Bay. Then the AFC game on Saturday, the Ravens and the Bills. Ravens coming off a 20-13 win against the Titans. Lamar Jackson was Lamar Jackson. He threw for 179. He did have a pick, but he also ran for 136 yards and a touchdown. Marquise Brown, 7 catches, 109 yards. Defensively, only held the Titans at 209 yards, and they shut down Derrick Henry. Henry came in. He had a 2,000-yard season. He only had 40 yards on 18 carries. That will come into play in this game. The Bills had a nice win against Indianapolis, 27-24. It kind of went the way I thought it would. Colts were able to run the game. The Colts ran for 163 yards. It came down to Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Diggs is better this year. He proved me wrong, even though he did almost choke it away at the end with a fumble. But he still threw. Josh Allen still threw for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns and ran for 54 yards and a touchdown. Diggs had 6 catches, 128 yards and a touchdown. They gave up 472 yards. Here's the difference here. I said the Colts might be able to run on the Bills. The Bills have a mediocre defense. They did, as I said, the Colts ran for 163 yards. They were to move it all over them. Now you have the #1 rushing offense in the league with Lamar Jackson doing what he just did. They have every other pieces on offense there. The Ravens defense was able to shut down Derrick Henry. They were pretty much slow down the Titans offense outside of Henry. The Bills now, they don't really have much of a running game anyway. Their running game is a lot of Josh Allen scrambling. And I think the Ravens will be able to kind of hold down, if they can hold down Josh Allen's scrambling ability, that makes them even more one-dimensional. Now that one dimension has been really effective all season long, Josh Allen going to Diggs and Beasley. But the Colts had their chances in this game, and it's just that Bills defense. I'm not sure they can slow down the Ravens running with Lamar Jackson running. This game, I'm going to go the Ravens again. Yeah, it's in Buffalo. It seems like it's going to probably snow in Buffalo, but that's better for the Ravens. They may go to kind of an option game this year, or this game, but the Ravens defense slowing down that running game, stuffing that running game against the Titans. Now they're going to make Josh Allen more one-dimensional. I don't know. Josh Allen hasn't proven yet he kind of proved it last week that he can do it on his own, but that's also with his scrambling ability, and that's all the Bills had running. It was him running, basically. So I'm going to go another upset here. I'm going to go Ravens again, taking out the Bills. All right, going into Sunday, the Browns had a really nice win against Pittsburgh, 48-37. Baker Mayfield, 263 passing, 3 touchdowns. This was about the defense for the Browns. They forced 5 turnovers, had a fumble return for a touchdown. They had 4 interceptions. And the opening play of the game where the bad snap by Pittsburgh that the Browns were able to recover for a touchdown. However, they did give up 553 total yards, 501 passing yards by Ben Roethlisberger. Granted, that was all in comeback mode. However, that's what KC does, right? That's what the Kansas City Chiefs do. They would throw for 500 yards just as their offense. KC had a bye week. They were 14-2. Pat Mahomes, 4,740 yards, 38 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Clyde Edwards-Helaire led their team in rushing, 803 and 4 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, 105 receptions, 1,416 yards and 11 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, 87 catches, 1,276 yards and 15 touchdowns. Daniel Sorensen led their team with 91 tackles. Chris Jones, 7.5 sacks. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, 6 interceptions. Kansas City, the number 1 total offense, 6th in scoring offense, 16th in total defense, and 11th in scoring defense. So their defense is kind of mediocre. The Browns they should be able to move it on them. Pittsburgh couldn't tackle for shit last week. I expect this to be a pretty high scoring game, but I'm not so sure. Like I said, the Browns couldn't really stop. Unless they can get 5 turnovers again, they couldn't stop Pittsburgh from throwing all over the field. That's what KC does. I think KC should be able to move on after this game. And then the final game of the weekend, 3rd time this year, playoff record. Both starting quarterbacks will be over 40 years old. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. The Bucs, they beat a stout Washington defense, 31-23. Tom Brady, 381 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that was with 6 drop passes, including 2 drop touchdowns in the end zone. Mike Evans, 6 catches, 119 yards it was. 507 total yards, able to move it up and down. The Saints, they struggled with the Bears. They won 21-9, but I think it was like 7-3 going into the 4th quarter, or at least super late in the 3rd. Breeze, 265 passing, 2 touchdowns. Kamara had an okay game, 99 rushing yards there. But the Saints really struggled. Now, that doesn't really matter. The Saints have been able to match up really well with the Buccaneers all season long. Granted, this is a different Bucs offense, and to me, the Saints have not been the same since Breeze has come back from his injury. He's not quite... he's still good, granted, but it's not quite there. This is a little bit of a different game. That doesn't mean anything mental. I think mentally... I think the Saints are inside the Bucs' heads. As much as I want the Bucs to win, we were letting Taylor Heineke run all over us. Now we stopped them overall as a running game. It was pretty much a rushing game. Was Taylor Heineke. Breeze is not going to do that, but I think Taylor Heinicke kind of showed what Taysom Hill can do with those packages coming in. I'm kind of having a hard time. Like, I want to go with the Bucs here. I have a hard time seeing a team beating us three times in the same season. But in my head, I keep going back to 1999. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they were prohibitive Super Bowl favorite. They went 14-2. They lost in the AFC Championship game. All three of those losses were to the Tennessee Titans. There are 2 regular season losses, and then they lost in the AFC Championship game to the Tennessee Titans. I have a feeling this may go that way too. Man, I'm just trying to stall some time. I'm kind of leaning towards the Saints getting it a third time. Unfortunately, I want the Bucs to win. I want this to be wrong, but I guess I'll go with the Saints there. So, alright, so those are my picks. Rams upset, Ravens upset, KC, and the Saints moving on. Those are my picks and my previews. Peace.